Hi. Hey everybody, it's Princess. Hi, I'm free. Yay, Princess is home. Sorry I was gone so long, dear ones. I know you missed me. I had an adventure. Princess is making light of it, but it was not a light affair. No. No. Nothing to take lightly. As you all know, Princess went to jail, and that 48 hours, you may not know, I went to jail for a DUI I took a plea on. The DUI was like a year and a half ago, and I fought it and messed around with it in court. There's a bunch of different things that happened. No need to go over it. However, by the end of it, I decided, with the help of my public defender, to take a plea. It was a good plea, and going to trial may not have come out in my favor, and it would have been a lot more time in jail, which I'm glad I avoided, because I will tell you what happened. So I took 2 days jail, and this was when I had to serve it. I served it Monday to Wednesday, 12:30, Monday to 12:30 Wednesday. And I had been told certain things, right? You saw the pretty clothes. I bought my socks and my panties and my little gray sweatshirt and my t-shirts, and I was so looking forward to wearing those things. Kids, many things did not happen the way Princess had planned. No matter what you do, when you end up in the system, you have no control. Okay? There's paperwork that has control. There's times and dates that may serve as control, and it seems like those mechanisms work, that they keep these numbers for you. But you become a number when you enter the system, and you are just sustained, barely. It was kind of freaky, kids. So booking, I got that 12:30 booking, took like 2 hours. That was a nightmare. A room full of crazy people, and one of them wasn't so sweet until later, and then he wound up sitting next to me. But and then another one totally hit on me. He's like, I would. I'm like, you would what? I'm like, thanks. But he was being nice and talking to me, and I made some friends, which is I kind of didn't want to do. Because I'm easy, I make friends so easy, and I end up caring about people. Then I'm like, oh no, where you going? Oh no, are you okay? But Princess had herself to worry about, kids, and booking took a while, and then they did book me. I had created a bit of a problem here as a transgender person. It's Transgendered Week, Awareness Week, kids, the 20th to the 26th. For all us transgendered kids, so check it out. Downtown Wingspan's doing a whole affair. So check out Transgendered Week, kids. Learn about people like me, about people like you, about people like us. Yay. They put me in jail. So they didn't know what to do with me. And because I had been charged as Michael, and then I went to jail as Sierra, and legally as Sierra, and as a female now instead of a male. And that created a problem. And at the booking, they were like, great, we changed your name in the system. Everyone's going to call you Sierra. It's no problem. Love you. It shouldn't be a problem. They're going to isolate you. You're going over to the mission. That's great. And I had, my little clothes to look forward to, my socks. And I figured it was going to be pink little jail cell with pretty covers and curtains and nice wind blowing through and the sun shining. And I didn't really get any of that, it turned out. So they move you into holding, where they keep all the bologna sandwiches. And you go into holding, and it's so cold. And again, they isolated me. They isolated me from that point. From the minute I got out of booking, they put me in my own cell. And that cell was like 10 by 10, not even. Maybe 6 by 10, 6 by 8, with a little toilet in it, with a little pony wall there, so you a little privacy in the toilet. And it was like porcelain brick tile on the inside, like, and white with scuff marks everywhere and kind of dirty. And they closed me in there and shut the door at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I stayed there, kids, until 3 o'clock in the morning the next day. They all through. I couldn't sit down because the floor is so cold. You sit down, you you're just cold, and trying to sleep. Could not sleep, could not sit. I would sit on my paperwork. You could hold your paperwork, and you're in those Pima County Jail shirts, and you're just like tucked in. And you're just like, oh, they're like potato sacks. It was cold, so I stood there looking out and watching things. You know, you have to do something, and I would mark time by knowing there was things that had to happen and watching them and anticipating their moves and staying hopeful every time something would happen that, oh, that was for me. And there were little moments that break up your time, and you chase those moments and stay focused on those moments and get from now to that moment, and you don't try to think past that moment, or else you go crazy. Being locked up and all the doors that I've already shut. At that point, I think it was 1, 2, 3, I think 4 doors to get into booking, 5th door to get into holding, and then the 6th door into my little cell. So I'm 6 doors locked into this building. And they keep me in there for 13 hours, right, standing. I couldn't sit down. I paced around a little bit. Could use the bathroom, and I could eat bologna sandwiches and watch them pretty much through this opaque window. And I watched the shift change, and as a transgender person, they didn't know what to do with me. And the sergeant came in, and he's like, so we're not used to people like you here, and we're not quite sure what to do. And he's like, I need to ask you some questions. And I don't know if this is legal or anything, but he's like, you have male plumbing, right? And I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to ask that. And he's like, but you've got male plumbing, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I haven't had surgery yet or anything, and don't intend to have surgery, really. Not that surgery, maybe put some boobies in here. He's like, well, we can't put you with women if you get that. That's not fair to them, and you might assault them. And we don't feel like we want to put you with men. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Although it probably would have been great. Someone would protect me, and it'd be great. But instead, I was afraid of that. Didn't want to make, like, 2,000 new friends for Princess. So I was happy to go into isolation and suggested isolation. And he was like, yes, we're going to put you in isolation. And I thought that I was going to go into isolation over to the mission, where I had met nice Miss Beard and nice Miss Pierce. And they had my clothes and my socks and my stuff. And they were like, yes, you're going to come over here, because I had sweetened her up. And she's like, yeah, check this. Yeah, we got room here. You can come over here. And Mr. Roach, Sergeant Roach was like, yep, you're going to be able to go to the mission. He's like, we're not going to cut your nails because you're only here 48 hours. There's no problem. He was a redhead. He was really sweet to me. I think he was hot for me. And he kept checking in on me. And I, just counted the moments so I could talk to him, because it was like, the reassurance. But I'm standing in this room with my bologna sandwiches and paperwork and these fucking slippers they give you after being mug-shotted and fingerprinted and everything, kids. It's no good being in jail. Princess doesn't like it. I'm sure you won't like it. Stay away from it. Don't drink and drive. It's not worth it. Get a cab. Get a friend to drive. Seriously. Or any crimes. Stay away from jail. But so the shift changes, and this other cop shows up, and I didn't like him. And he's like, finally at 3 they let me out, and this one cop comes up, and he's a jerk, and he's like, yeah, well, alright, guy. And I'm like, a girl, I got my makeup on. Listen, kids, princesses, if you go into jail, you do your makeup, you look good, you make sure you put on some dark stain on your lips so that it lasts for a day or two. You put your makeup on kind of, not too heavy, but make sure you got it in there good. Shave really good, because especially if it's going to take 2 days. 2 days. It felt like 3. shave, do things, get yourself set up because you're going to be in jail and you want to be pretty and represent. You can't go in with your wig, so you got to have your hair kind of looking nice, before you go in. I wore my wig all the way up to the door. So it looked pretty, and I had my nails done, right? And he's like, well, we're going to cut your nails. I'm like, no, well, Sergeant Roach said you don't have to cut my nails. And he's like, yeah, we're going to cut your nails. And so they take me upstairs through the 5th, 6th door, a 7th door, an 8th door, 9th door, through like a hallway, through those sliding doors, boom, through this other sliding door, boom, through a metal detector, through another sliding door, boom. So it's like 13 doors, up an elevator, through 2 more sliding doors, boom, boom, down a hallway, another sliding doors, boom, boom, into this pen. And you're like, whoa, and there's just lined 2 stories like this around of these doors, big metal doors with little slots in them that are covered up, and those slots for the trays they feed people in, and through, and it was serious, and they're like, hi, Mr. Mahar, and I'm like, yeah, hi, still princessing it up, trying to bring the charm and the light into this dark place so that they can feel responsible for me and care for me and love me, because I need to be loved and taken care of because I'm a princess. And I deserve to be cared for, and so do you. And you need to reach out for that if you expect to be cared for. You present that to people, that way they have the opportunity to care for you. So he starts like, you gotta cut your nails, and I'm cutting my nails, and I'm freaking out. And he's like, okay, that's enough. You don't have to cut them anymore. So he made me cut these off, but I didn't have to cut these off. He could see me getting so angry. And he's like, that's good. Don't do it anymore. And then, so I start out in a white jumper. On the way up, they put me in an orange jumper. On the 4th floor, I had to wear this whole other color, black and gray. And then they give me a bedroll, and they go, after the squat and cough, and they took my shirt off, and they took pictures of my full chest and face, and then turn and turn, so my naked pictures of poor princess, and dress me in this outfit and send me up. They're like, okay, you're up in that corner on the top floor, go in there and shut the door. And I went in there and shut the door. Boom! This little room, and I was so mad from my nails, I was still fuming, and you just can't let them get you down, and you mark your time, and I sat in there for like 34 hours, something like that, and they never talked to me, they never stopped, I didn't get any day room time, they fed me, and I would like look through the little tray thing, and I'd be like, hi, Princess here, can somebody talk to me about what's going on here when I get out, and that I'm here and who I am and when I'm getting out? And they're like, yeah. And then they never come back. And then I saw the nurse, and I was supposed to get my medications, so I don't freak out. And they're like, no, we don't have you on your list. No medications. So everything wasn't going, They didn't give me my clothes. They didn't send me to the mission. They didn't have my medication. I'm like, holy fuck. So I finally talked to this one guy. I'm like, I'm only supposed to be here 48 hours. Does anybody know that? And he looks at my paperwork and he goes, no, you're here until the 21st of November. I'm like, what? Like, my heart stopped. I'm like, no. I'm like, it says 48 hours between that time. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, we don't handle that. They call us when they're ready to get you out of here. I'm like, oh my goodness, because I don't know what they're going to do, and I just feel like they're going to lock me up there forever, and I'm like, what did Princess do? And I'm locked in this little room in the corner with no little light, the little windows opaque, and oh my God. And you can't freak out, and you can't let them get you down, and you mark your time, and you go minute by minute until you're done. And I did, and I got out, and I read a book. There was a book about this, anyway, but I read a book and marked my time, and I stayed positive, and I thought about all my loved ones, and I thought about you, and I'm grateful to be out. So, Princess loves you, and I'm glad to be home. That's the story. It was frightening. I don't want to do it again, and I want to thank Dale for dropping me off, picking me up, and having dinner for me, and taking care of Pepper, and watching the house. And God bless him and being sweet to me. And Princess loves you. Kisses, everybody. Talk to you soon. Princess is free. Yay!